It's still a seller's market, but we're starting to see some of that power shift over to the buyers. You want to know how? Stay tuned because I'm getting into it right now. Hey everybody, I'm Dietric.Williams, realtor with Compass-Baldwin Hills, California, and welcome back to another edition of Info on the Go, the show where I give tips, tricks, and insight on how to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in Southern California. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap that bell so that you're notified every time I upload new content to YouTube. Real estate transactions can often be stressful and extremely complex. And technology has made that a bit more simplistic, specifically for the seller to alleviate some of the stress out of that process. And this is where the advent of the iBuyer comes in, or the instant buyer. Now, exactly what is an iBuyer? Really, it's a model that uses artificial intelligence, or AI, to generate what we call an AVM, or an automated valuation model. Let me just put it in layman terms. The computer gets data about your house and some other houses in the neighborhood. It starts to churn that data and then spits out a value of what it feels your home is worth. And so how the iBuyer uses this is it will go to that homeowner and offer them fair market value based on that AVM that the computer or the algorithm just spit out. Now, you have to take this with a little bit of grain of salt, because the computer has never been inside that household or your household to determine what has happened inside, whether there were any renovations, updates, repairs, to verify the square footage, any additions that you may have made to the property. The computer doesn't know any of this information unless somebody inputs it. It also hasn't been inside the other homes in your neighborhood or surrounding neighborhoods that have sold recently. So because of that, there's a margin of error that hovers somewhere between, I would say, 6 and 10%, that those values are going to be a little bit off. If we're talking about $1 million property, 10% can add up. Now, the iBuyer makes this offer to the homeowner in cash, and usually it closes within 2, maybe 3 days, which you would get it, right? That's the term instant, because it happens pretty fast. The iBuyer will then do some small renovations maybe, or a few slight repairs, and then they're gonna put that house back on the market at a higher price. Now, if the iBuyer has done a great job in running its numbers, they're gonna do pretty well. But for some, those houses may sit on the market a little bit longer because they either didn't do enough repairs or they overpriced it, AKA some companies fail, vis-a-vis Zillow offers. But that's not really where they make their money at, for the most part. They really make their money by the flat fees and the service fees that they charge, which usually range somewhere between 6 and 10%. Why is this all important for you as a home buyer? Well, for one, these iBuyers are taking some of that inventory off of the market. So that's inventory that you could get, but now it's leaving. And then when it comes back, it's going to be at an inflated price, which means that it may no longer be affordable for you or somebody else. Additionally, because iBuyers are offering cash, some of you can't compete with all cash offers. So you're still not able to compete with iBuyers on some of these homes that normally you may have a fighting chance for. But there's a new segment that's entering the market, and they're called power buyers. Essentially, these are companies that are kind of similar models to iBuyers, but they're working with buyers. And what are they doing? They're actually purchasing the homes for buyers cash with no appraisal contingencies. Hey, Dietric, that sounds absolutely great, but how does this whole process work? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me explain. In order for me to purchase a home through a power buyer, I am going to go through a qualification process, similar to a loan approval. Now, I'm going to pay an earnest money deposit or some type of flat fee, and sometimes this fee or that deposit may be waived if I use other factions of the company. For instance, if they have a financing arm and I use them for financing or the mortgage, then they may waive those fees for me. I go out, I find a house, I tell the power buyer, I want to purchase that one. And so they go out as the power buyer, write the offer, all cash, no appraisal contingency. And remember, some of these companies can close fast. We're talking 2 days, right? So they go out and they purchase the house for me. I, in turn, will go out and get a mortgage to buy the house from the power buyer. Or if I've used their financing arm, I don't have to do anything except pay the mortgage on the home. This is pure genius in that it gives the buyer more financial muscle to go out and compete for these highly sought after homes. Now, I'm not sure exactly how many companies are out there that offer the power buyer service, but there probably are quite a few. Some of the ones that I can name off the top of my head are Knock, which is probably the largest. There's Homeward, there's Ribbon, there's Orchard, there's Really, and then there's Fly Homes for Agents, which are just a few of, I don't know how many that are out there, but these are just the ones that I can think of. Now, you're gonna have to do your due diligence because some or all of these companies may not be available in your area. However, if they are, this could be a good opportunity for you as a buyer to use these services to level the playing field when you're competing against all cash offers, institutional investors, or people who are waiving their appraisal contingencies. Now, some power buyers offer way more services than what I just talked about. I just gave you kind of a brief synopsis on kind of what they do. Some of them actually provide services such as when you close on the house or when they close on the house, before you get your financing, they'll allow you to move into the home and just pay rent. I mean, you can't beat that deal. Now, again, you're gonna have to do your due diligence to find out not only what services they provide, but any fees associated with that, and then outweigh the pros and the cons. This is not a video to tell you to go out and use a power buyer or not use a power buyer. I'm gonna leave that due diligence up to you, but I'll let you know whatever I know about power buyers. And if you have questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. I'm pretty good about responding to people right away. But hey, guys, check this out and see if this is something that you can use as a buyer, again, to level the playing field so that you can go out there and compete for the home that you want.